Yo, what is up? You're listening to the Aliens Love Earth podcast. My name is Jasper, and yeah, the year is coming to an end, and that's why we're gonna do a year in review. So, in this episode, we will highlight the community highlights of this year, the milestones we reached, thanks to you as well. And we will also share some inspiring stories from the green scene, which are stories that inspired us or accounts that are very interesting to follow while we're going into the new year. A bit of a recap of the year and things that inspired us and things that we reached. So we will dive a bit into the ecosystem restoration efforts that we did this year, thanks to you as well. We'll have a recap of artists we invited and all that just to prep ourselves for the new year that's coming. So cool that you're on here and that you're checking in for this episode. Thanks if you are listening, and if it isn't the first time, if you're new, feel free to listen along with the whole episode and you have a bit of an idea what we did last year. And we will also tease a bit of what we will be doing in 2025 that's upcoming pretty quickly now. So stay in for some teases and some more about what to expect. Now, before we dive into the actual show, I just want to say, if you're an artist and you have a big heart for the planet and you'd like to get your music on the show, make sure to submit your music on aliensloveearth.com/submit. That's the place to send in your music. We would love to feature it on the show if it's in line with our platform. And if you are not following us on Instagram already, make sure to do that, because we restore 1 square meter of landscape for every follower. It's free, only 2 clicks, so why not? All right, then let's dive into the show.
Community Milestones.
That's right, we're gonna dive straight into the actual milestones from this year. So in this part, we will just run you through some of the things we did in the last year, who did those things, and some results, about the music we shared, the artists we supported, but also our eco impact in the last year is something we will talk through. Buckle up for that. And first up, I want to give a big shout out to all the artists that we interviewed in the last year. So in total, we did 8 in-depth artist interviews. That's the video interviews that we share on our YouTube channel. So 8 interviews, and 5 of those artists actually also did an exclusive live performance for Aliens Love Earth. So I just want to give a big thanks to the artists that were willing to do an interview with us this year, and that also especially thank the ones that also did an exclusive live performance for us. So we started the year with Melody Frost. Melody came over to the farm, which was then still our headquarters, when we did a year and 2 years ago. When we started the project, we did it at the house where I was then living with my friend Azeri, who's also very closely related to the show. We invited people over to an old farm where we were living. And Melody was the first of the year. We had a super fun talk. I think it's one of the longest talks we ever did, because it was just a lot of fun and genuine laughing. And if you didn't see the episode, we're singing High School Musical, and I'm not gonna say more. That's the level. We were having fun talks about Animal Crossing and the most random things, but also very serious topics about how to overcome hard periods and how to deal with anxieties and things like that. So check that episode out with Melody if you didn't. And then she did a very cool exclusive live performance of her then upcoming, now released EP, Careful Hearts. So go check it out. That was really fun. Thank you so much, Melody. Then after Melody, we actually had a bit of an interruption in interviews for a bit, and that was because I was traveling through Ireland, the UK, and Wales, and we tried then some different topics in the meantime, because we were kind of then figuring out how we wanted to do the artist interviews with not having the farm anymore where we lived before, and as I was on the road. The project was a bit in more kids' shoes then. We did some Hot Topics episodes, about how AI influences the world of creativity, about TikTok versus the big labels, and how you as an indie artist could profit from that. I tried out some on tour episodes, but yeah, they didn't really fit the platform. Thinking back on it, the idea was to go on tour while I was road tripping and then meet artists on the go, but it seemed that doing that spontaneously was actually way more difficult than I expected or hoped. So yeah, we figured that out, and we know that that's something that's not coming back. The on tour part, the hot topics part, actually is gonna come back in some form. I'm not gonna spoil too much, but we're gonna do that a bit more consistent again, and that's actually something that I might touch on later in this episode as well. Now then, there was actually one artist that I met on the go when I was in Ireland during this road trip, and that was Ray VM. Ray is a word artist. Very cool talk that we had there. I was volunteering there at an art institute where artists could go and live in for a few weeks and then have workshops and then performances after. And I met Ray there. It's such a wonderful person, very joyful, very thoughtful as well, and very interesting insights on life. And we had a very cool talk about nature in art, the representation of people of color in art, and also in eco-related art. And we talked about flute albums by former rap artists. Yeah, so go check that out. It's a very nice talk. I really enjoyed it. Like, we just set up the camera and we just sat down with the microphones on them. It was really just a talk, and yeah, genuine interest. And we are sitting in the middle of the trees, which was really fun. And then afterwards, Ray also sent over a spoken word performance called All the Pebbles on the Beach, which you can also check out on the YouTube. After that, we had WCB. WCB from Australia, really cool, really alternative electro-poppy vibes. We had to talk about his upcoming EP called Moonboy, his artistic journey, and Planet Earth as well. Very fun talk and a very cool live performance that WCB shared with us as well, straight from the living room. But he did such a great job on making it look beautiful in the background, and he really set up a stage in the living room that you are invited to watch. So go check that out. Thank you, WCB, so much for being part of the project this year. You are a very valued community member, and Ray as well. Sorry, I didn't say that, but yeah, everyone I'm shouting out now, they are all legends. They also all have some serious things to share about Planet Earth and how art is connected to that. So yeah, thanks for that. Then we had a talk with Ari Joshua as well. Very fun, legendary guy already, since he had collabs with legends like Pearl Jam, Pendulum. We talked a bit about apartheid, because he actually came from South Africa and then moved to the US. So we had a bit of how, as a child growing up in South Africa until the age of 5 or 6 and then moving to the States, actually influenced his art, his music. And we also talked about things like music as a therapy and how you land collabs with artists that also played in bands like Pearl Jam and Pendulum and R.E.M. And yeah, very impressive. Very valuable interview as well. So thanks, Ari. Miguel Diaz came after. Portuguese, super nice guy, very open. Also shared a lot about the importance of feedback, music's connection to nature. And yeah, he's a bit of a synth-poppy guy. Very cool. He's releasing very frequently. Miguel Diaz. So check that out. It's really chill music. Very, how do you say that? Like accessible music to play in the background, but also to chill down on a Sunday. And just a really nice guy, really friendly, really cool. And was a very fun talk. So thanks, Miguel. Then I want to thank my friends from Elements of Surprise. Elements of Surprise is a duo making alternative electro pop with like really glitchy electro influences. Very cool, and it's all in the name, Elements of Surprise. So yeah, be ready to be surprised because there's a lot of hidden gems, hidden ad-libs, and very funky, heavy switches also from like electro pop to EDM or electro sounds. Not your ordinary electropop, I would say. Talked about blending genres, the beauty of collaboration, and also about their songwriting process, which is really interesting to check out. It's a duo made up of Azeri and Robin, who are also friends of me. And Azeri is, as said, like very closely related to the show. Helped a lot. And they also then did a live performance for Aliens Love Earth exclusively, a semi-acoustic electro live performance on the community gathering. And I will come back to the community gathering a bit later. But that was very special. We sat down in the middle of nature and built up a live performance there. So it was actually an in-person live performance. Then, thank you, Tweeling. Yes, Tweeling, such a nice guy, but also such an interesting story. He played in many bands as a drummer before. He did parts of the songwriting then already, but now he took the wheel and made a 180 turn, and he is now doing a solo act where he also uses loop stations and his guitar and a lot of other objects basically to create music. We had a performance by him as well at the community gathering. Both of them are up on our YouTube channel as well. And we have the interview up there as well, where we touched on things like embracing imperfections, emotional connection and vulnerability in art, which really was a beautiful talk. He, for example, also explains why his name, Tweeling, which means twins in English, has a double meaning, and like it's touching a bit on the spiritual here and there, which I really love. It's really a deep dive and a deep talk, and really cool. Then the last interview we did this year only aired 2 weeks ago, and that was a talk with Klaus, who is a hardstyle or harder styles producer and DJ. So I really love also the variety of all these artists in terms of genres. Also something we really love, and we will also continue to do, because we think that what connects artists on Aliens Love Earth within the community is their love for planet Earth, and the fact that they take their music creation to a bit of another level, have a bit of a deeper, more conscious approach to the world and the environment. And I think we think that's all connected. And with Klaus, we, for example, talked about the 432 hertz frequency, which is known to be healing, or believed to be healing by many. The value of community and community building for your artist career. He shares a very interesting approach to workflow and being efficient. And we talk about nature's role in music and how nature influences art as well. So that's that on the artists we featured and the interviews we did. Now, besides that, to just drop some more numbers, we also did the community tracks episodes. We shared in total 22 episodes in 2024. And with that, we gave over 200 indie artists play on our podcast, on our YouTube channel, on our Spotify playlist, and we also gave them a shout out on our socials. So that's what we are all about, highlighting indie artists with a big heart for the planet. And I'm really excited and proud about what happened this year, and I can't wait for 25 in that sense. So talking a little bit about what to expect in the new year. Well, we started with doing quick Q&As with green-hearted and minded artists that you might have seen already on our Instagram page as carousels there. You might have also seen that on our website. which is actually updated. So if you didn't see that already, this is a soft launch. You can check it out now before anyone else did. But our website is very fresh and recently updated. It has a very fresh look, so go check that out. Because then you can also read these artist Q&As, like the interplanetary pics, as we call them as well. And we experimented, as said, with some concepts like the hot topics. Part of that is gonna come back on tour, definitely not coming back. What we're also doing is we're working on getting more artist interviews in. Well, as I said, in the beginning of the year, we did some less interviews. I was on tour doing this road trip, and we were kind of figuring out how we would, run our YouTube and our podcast. We figured out we want to do more artist interviews, so that's something we're working on really hard. We are also working on some new concepts and a completely new format for the podcast as well. So stay tuned for that. The YouTube is gonna get different content, or at least it's gonna be formatted differently. And you might see it on our socials as well. We're really excited about how this community is shaping and the direction it's going. And that's some of the things you can expect. And as said, our website is updated. Which means that you can also submit your music directly to us on our own website. So before we were only on Musasoup, we will still be on Musasoup as well. You can find a link to the Musasoup to submit to us, and hundreds of other online blogs and writers and all that. But they use they ask for a basic fee to submit in the first place. To all those blogs, so it's really valuable. But if you're just looking to get your music out to us, then you can just submit straight to us. You don't have to do it to Musasoup anymore. The place to submit your music is aliensloveearth.com/submit. So then you know where to find us. Now, that was a bit about how the community evolved in the last year, and how the project shaped and all that. And now let's see a bit about what we did in 2024 in terms of eco impact, because that's what we are also about. So eco impact. In this year, in 24, we adopted the method that we will help restore 1 square meter of landscape in an area where it's needed the most, somewhere in the world, where it's not only protecting or restoring the environment for the sake of planet's health and not destroying more nature but bringing it back, but in a way that it's also actually protecting or helping local communities. So in the history, like before, what we did was we planted 1 tree somewhere in an area where it was needed. But now we do landscape restoration, which is a bit of a bigger approach. So let me tell you a bit about that. Landscape restoration is all about seeing the holistic picture of an area. So it means that if we restore 1 square meter of landscape, it could be a water management system that's being built to make sure that water that's captured actually doesn't run off, creating mud streams, destroying the village close by, but that the water is managed in a way so that it saves these people's lives. Just as an example. Now, what also happens is that the local community, so for example, people that live in that village, actually work in the project to get an income that's a consistent income, because the project is managed for 20, 30 or more years. So what happens here is that planet Earth is getting restoration, which is great because we need to fight climate change. Then what happens is that the local community is protected, so they will not pay with their lives or stay in poverty because of the climate change effects. But then on top of that, they are earning an income from the project, which they can use to send their kids to school or to get a more consistent amount of food to the village, or develop their skills and their knowledge, which is obviously a great thing. So that's why we choose to work with that approach from now on in 2024. I'm very happy with that. Now, a little bit about what we actually did in 2024. Thanks to you, of course, because we help restore 1 square meter of landscape for every follower on any social media platform, or the YouTube, or any podcasting platform. Wherever you find us, if you give us a follow, we help restore 1 square meter of landscape. Now, in the past year, we in total, and we are really, really happy and proud of this, restored or helped restore 2,000 square meters of landscape in Mozambique, which, as I said, doesn't only include tree planting, but actually is restoring the full landscapes there. We did some different tree planting in the beginning of the year before we switched to the landscape restoration. And then we planted 57 trees as well in 2 different projects in Mozambique and Kenya. So we are really, really excited, because this means that we are actually making an impact by sharing cool artists and by listening to music and restoring the planet in one a bad idea. Like, I don't think it is, right? So we got a new update coming up in the beginning of 25. We were planning to do an update every quarter, but we felt like with administration and figuring things out, it was just taking a bit of time. We now plan to do it every half year. And that means we got an update incoming for the beginning of 2025. I can just give you an update on that. We are currently on 270 square meters of landscape that we can help restore. So if you want this number to be even higher, and we would love that, then you can help to increase this number by just giving us a follow at any channel you don't follow us on yet. So why not start with Instagram? For example, when you're hearing this, go over to Instagram. Our handle is @aliens.love.earth. It's 2 clicks. You can follow us there. It's completely free, and as you just heard, it really has an impact. So that would be a great start. Now, if you're following us there already, you can also give us a follow somewhere else. But just to say, you heard it. It's really making an impact if you're following us and if you're listening to the channels. Now, just as a little highlight, it seemed that most of you really like our YouTube channel, as that grew the fastest of all in 2024. 1,822 people decided that they want to help planet Earth by following us on there, resulting in 70.5 thousand views on the interviews, the performances, and the community tracks and all other content, the hot topics. So I just want to say, wow, guys, thank you very much for that. It really means a lot, and I'm really happy that, like, due to that, we can restore landscapes, and we can also give all these indie artists a platform, because I really meet a lot of great artists online that have a big heart for the planet, and I'm really thankful that you know to find us to send the music, and for this community that we're shaping. So it really gives me the trust that together we can really make a difference for planet Earth and for indie artists. So thank you. So just as a quick summary, how we actually help indie artists with a green heart. Well, we give them a stage. We do this by highlighting them in our content, providing a unique community where artistry meets environmental action, where you might be listening to. And financially, we do this by, for example, giving them back 50% of the profits of the YouTube monetization efforts once we have them on a video. Then the artist will get back 50% of the advertisement income for a period of 5 years, so that they actually can make a bit back from their investment into the content that they might have to do. So yeah, we're really, really excited about that, and we can't wait to see what 25 will bring for our
Community Milestones.
That's right, that was it for our community milestones for now. I might turn back on it later for a little bit, but first I promised you some teasing about what's coming up in 2025. Now, one of the things that you will definitely hear in the new year is the green scene. And in the green scene, we will highlight eco-related art news that is coming into the world by great artists, festivals, music events of any kind, actually. We will just touch on them and highlight them because we think there are very inspiring stories out there. Might be helpful for artists to make their act more environmentally friendly, or it's just very nice to know and see that there is actually a lot of artists or events out there that are having a heart for the planet. So just as a little preview, I want to highlight some things from the last year that really stood out to us. So number one is Massive Attack's Act 1.5 festival. So in August 24, Massive Attack set a groundbreaking standard with their Act 1.5 festival that they held in Bristol. This was not any ordinary event or festival they organized, because they, powered entirely by solar energy and advanced battery systems, the festival eliminated fossil fuels completely from their operations. So the venue served as a meat-free zone, promoting plant-based diets to reduce carbon emissions, and fans were actually invited to use sustainable transport like electric buses and bicycles, with local ticket pre-sales as well to reduce travel emissions. Now, what makes it even more impressive is that post-event, Massive Attack committed to creating a climate-resilient woodland plantation in southwest England. So that really demonstrates their long-term environmental vision. And the band collaborated with the Tyndall Center for Climate Change Research to ensure every aspect of the festival adhered to the Paris Agreement's decarbonization goals. So that's just a great example, I think, of how a green scene news item should look like. Now, another one for all the ravers out there was Rave the Planet. It's Berlin's legendary street rave, which was known before as Love Parade, but they rebranded after the terrible accident that happened years ago. Now, one of the things they always did was keep a cleanup day after the event. And on August the 18th this year, they did that again. So the day after the event, they collected with a big group of volunteers a lot of trash that was in the park and in the surrounding areas, and all the equipment like gloves, garbage bags and grabbers were all provided by the local environmental action group BSR Kerenburger. And the event also received a lot of support from other local environmental action groups. So it's Europe's largest garden monument, the Tiergarten, and it holds historical and cultural significance, as they say, to Berlin's techno scene. And that's why they have that high on the planning. So here's another great example why raving and cleanups go perfectly well together. It's great to have a big party and have all these volunteers the day after. So besides it's a great environmental action, it's also actually a social gathering that boosts this techno community there, which is really cool. Really great example of how music and eco can go together. Now, the last one we want to highlight is the Montreux Jazz Festival in Swiss. They did a full festival where they wrote a whole plan about sustainability as the core value of the event. So they really prioritized environmental stewardship while maintaining the world-class reputation for music and culture that they have. So some things they did that highlight this is reducing their waste and recycling by having a very robust waste management strategy. They achieved a decline of 50% of their waste, actually compared to earlier editions. Single-use plastics were forbidden, and they really reduced their waste in that sense. They also went for sustainable energy use, so they worked a lot with green energy, and they only wanted local grid energy as well, so there were no generators on the site as well. Then they did a lot of local and sustainable food sourcing. So they worked with local caterers, and they also were having to need at least one vegetarian option on every food stand. They encouraged green mobility, and they did a lot of green partnerships with local sustainable organizations and cleanup activities as well. So that's just meant as a little example of how art and earth can really go hand in hand. You will hear more of the green scene in the upcoming year. That was just a little teaser. Now I got some more teasings to come for what's coming up in the next year, but that's just for now about the green scene. What news in 2024 did you run into that showed that art and earth go perfectly hand in hand? Let us know in the comments. We're really excited to hear about it. Always curious for some inspiring stories. So that was the green scene. And I want to go back to some more community milestones, because we did the 2024 community gathering, which is our in-person meetup every year. So let's hear that jingle one more time.
Community Milestones.
Yes, definitely one of the community milestones for 2024 was the community gathering. Just like in 2023, we did another community gathering, which is our yearly in-person meeting where we do a combination of hands-on eco-action and enjoying music. Now, this year we cleared out 3.5 60-liter trash bags in the Netherlands around the Zevenhuizer Plus. That's close to Rotterdam. And yeah, it was really great. We had fantastic weather. We had a very bit challenging walk, maybe. Was a bit longer than anticipated in the end, but it was really fun. We had beautiful weather and we had a very fun group of people that joined for a cleanup walk, and then we sat down, had a very nice picnic with the community, and we listened to live music, and it was really a vibe. You can check it out in the recap, the after movie of our gathering 2024 on the YouTube. And yeah, I just want to give a big thank you to everyone that was there to help or participated in some way. So yeah, first of all, Elements of Surprise and Tweeling for delivering fantastic live music sets during the picnic after the cleanup walk. Was really fun, very cool acoustic or electroacoustic hybrid sets that are both on the YouTube as well, so you can check them out. I'll link them on the YouTube if you're watching there in the top of the screen. And I want to thank Azeri for the amazing footage and after movie, and for helping with thinking along about the organization. Joris van der Merbel also for the help getting things ready, and yeah, helping prepare with the preparations. So that was really great. And of course, everyone who walked along and joined for the music after, including Valerie, Martijn, Robin, Koen, Irene, Thomas, and invitees from Thomas. And yeah, I hope I don't forget anyone. Oh yeah, Robin, the kids that you brought along, and your wife, of course. So yeah, I'm sorry if I forget someone, but really thanks everyone who came out. Now the intention is to do at least one of these gatherings every year. Maybe we're looking into expanding that real life physical in-person element, but that depends a bit on how the new year is gonna look. But what we would love to hear from you is maybe you saw the after movie, or maybe you followed the community and saw some social posts. Where would you love to see these mixes of eco action and music? Because maybe we can see if there's possibilities to create these community gatherings in person also closer to where you are. So we would love to hear where you would love to see those gatherings, and yeah, maybe we can work something out. Maybe you know some artists in your region that are very mindful about planet Earth and love to have some eco action in. Make sure to contact us and let us know, because yeah, then we can maybe arrange something. So yeah, let us know on that. And then also we are curious to hear what your favorite Aliens of Earth moment of 24 was. Maybe you saw an interview with a very funny moment that you can share with us. Or maybe you had a social post that you found very inspiring or fun. Maybe you saw one of the ecosystem restoration updates. Yeah, whatever your moment was, let that know as well. Now, we want to dive into some accounts to follow in the new year. So we are also about sharing inspiration, and we found some very cool accounts on Instagram, but they are probably also on other socials in the past year that we want to highlight for a bit. So I'll give you the name of them, their Instagram handle, and a few reasons why we love them and we find them very inspiring. So maybe interesting for you to follow them as well. So first up, we got Sounds Right, and it's a project that launched in the beginning of this year. There's big names involved like Brian Eno and a lot of other names, Aurora, David Bowie even has a song on it, Together with Nature, because what they do is they turn nature into an official artist on the music. So what they do is they add nature as an official artist, which means that the royalties that are generated from that track, the artist nature is actually generating income from the music. And that revenue is being distributed among conservation and restoration projects in the world. In precarious ecosystems and threatened biodiversity systems. So really inspiring project, and again, it's like art and earth coming together. So perfect to follow. Their Instagram handle is soundsright.earth. Now, the second one is Music Declares. Music Declares is an international community that brings together artists, music industry professionals, and music fans to call for an immediate governmental response to the climate change emergency to protect all life on Earth. They currently have different accounts for some specific countries. The main account is Music Declares UK. But they have a Music Declares NL, Spain, Canada, and Hungary as well. So you can check in with some more local community if that's what you're after. Now, their mission and vision states, we believe in the power of music to promote the cultural change needed to create a better future, which sounded pretty similar to ours, so that's why we had to give them a follow. So check that out for sure. Now, another one is a bit of a more local project, but we're mentioning them anyways because they're just too entertaining. They're really great to follow. They have very funny content and also content that really matters. It's Nature Over Natter, and it's ran by Tammy and Louise, a collective artistic and social media movement, as they call themselves, based in the UK. And their aims are to support young local artists to create artwork for the benefit of the planet and inspire the artists to create art for this cause. They raise awareness for projects happening right now in the UK that you can get involved in. And they build a fun and optimistic community so that they can help make a difference and act together. Now, believe us, you will really not regret dropping them a follow. So go over to Instagram and find them under the handle Nature Over Natter. Now, another account that's really interesting to follow and check out now that we're moving into a new year is Solar Sound System. So Solar Sound System is an international network of solar and movement-powered mobile bike stages that spread good vibes and music by sustainably amazing creations. So it's basically bikes that have solar panels on the roof and a DJ set or music installation under it, and they play music. And you can rent the bikes, but on their socials there's a lot of fun examples on how the bike systems work, how they are put to work, and the great party vibes that they create. So they have hubs spread out over France, Germany, Hong Kong, and Israel, where you can rent the bikes or where you can check in with the local community and see how solar sound systems work. So yeah, just check out their Instagram. Their handle is @SolarSoundSystem, and there you can check out how it actually works. Now, the last account we want to highlight is Eden Plus. It's our landscape restoration partner, or it has been for 2024. And their account is filled with beautiful details about how their project works, how they work, and then you will understand why we choose to work with them. They have a very holistic approach to landscape restoration. They restore in areas where it's needed the most, where the restoration work is not only benefiting restoring ecosystems, but also actually preventing that the Now, they have a very holistic approach to landscape restoration. You will find out that they don't only restore the ecosystems for the sake of the planet, but that actually these restorations also protect the local communities, and that they actually invite the local communities to run the project so that they can make a living. And yeah, they understand that for nature projects to flourish, the local community also needs to flourish, and vice versa. So yeah, that were some accounts to follow for inspiration into the next year. We're running into the end of the episode, so I just want to say a massive thanks to everybody that checked in with the community in 2024, all the artists that were part of it, that we had talks with or that did a performance, people tuning in to the YouTube or the podcast, or that left a comment on the socials. We really love it when you leave a comment or, yeah, drop your thoughts on a post. That's sharing is caring and really tells us a bit what's on your mind. Very, very special thanks also to Azeri for his friendship and unbelievably valuable help with the project. Yeah, wonderful year, if you ask us, and can't wait for the next one. Join us next week for a special recap of the funniest, most inspiring, and legendary interview moments of this year. Also, let us know what your favorite interview moment was, if you have one. And make sure to follow us on whatever channel you're listening to now, so that we can add 1 square meter of landscape into our next restoration round. Now, thanks for listening. I hope to see you next week in the recap of the interview moments, and have a great day. Cheers!